going on? What is up, everybody? How's everybody doing? I just seen the very end of DJ's stream, and so I was gonna go live, but I seen that he was live, so I waited for him to end the stream. And happy birthday to DJ. Didn't know it was his birthday, but happy birthday, man. Hopefully you're having a good birthday. So yeah, this is kind of just a catch-up stream. I know I haven't been making as much videos lately. I've been kind of busy. It's kind of easier for me to stream some of these weeks where I'm really busy with work. So let's talk about the adjustment we just had for Bitcoin. Because yeah, it was we had a previous adjustment of 3.58%, but there is an expected negative 8% difficulty adjustment right now. So, but that doesn't take place until September 26th, and this could change right between now and then. So we'll have to definitely keep an eye on this and see if this number keeps going up, or does it keep going down, right? Definitely going to have to keep an eye on the difficulty adjustment. I did purchase another S19K. I don't know why, but I bought Hawk's S19 from him last night. So we'll see if that's gonna pan off or not. I just threw it over on my old NiceHash account. And I'm just gonna let it rip over there for right now until I decide what I want to do with it. So it remains to be seen if that was a good decision or not. I paid $750 for it. It has an Epic control board in it. I'm not really a fan of the Epic GUI though. I don't really like it that much. I like Brains, to be honest with you guys. It's kind of my favorite firmware to use is Brains. I'm a huge fan of Brains. Maybe it's because they have two eyes in their name and I have two eyes in my name. I don't know, but I just like it. Speaking of Brains, these guys actually have a new solo miner that they're sending out to me for review, and which I think is really cool. So they have this new Brains mini miner. There's Wi-Fi connectivity. It has a huge display, and actually you can play the original Doom on here, which is really cool. I'll show you the Twitter post. And it has you're able to fully tune this thing. You could overclock it, you could underclock it, undervolt it, do anything you want. This can run Brains from what I understand. So when I actually receive it, then we'll actually see what's going on behind the scenes. But I'm assuming that the Brains OS will be running on the system itself. So I think that's really cool. It's kind of a really nice miner. Now I know that it's $299, so it's kind of more on the expensive side. So I want to see what kind of quality it comes with. You know, does it have the Brains OS on it so we could tune this thing? Can we overclock it? Can we do all these cool things with it? As well as they're actually going to provide me with a promo code to give you guys 10% off, which is kind of cool. So I should have that in the next week or two. So pretty cool, I think. I'm excited to work with these guys. I've worked with these guys before for a control board. So yeah, I definitely like the Brains team. They do a lot of great stuff there. But yeah, that's a little bit on Bitcoin. It's, man, the Bitcoin mining is definitely very hard right now to be a Bitcoin miner. Serious. Let me catch up on the chat here. Warmed up and work is here. Offshore says, no, just getting warmed up, working on swapping rakes to the new Carlson. Is that what that is? Carlson setup? Is that what those are? Nice. If anyone's been following me for AI, though, I guess we could go check out the AI stuff. Go to my Google sheet here if you guys haven't been keeping up with that. It's been going pretty solid. My Flux core rigs just stopped being rented though. They were rented for a really, really long time. So they just stopped being rented this morning. I checked them. So let's see here. You guys see that? Okay, cool. All right. So you guys can see that Flux core was solidly rented here. And I would just check this like once a day around the same time for the wattage. And there's times where the Flux rig wasn't doing any work, but it was still being, you're still, rented. And it was so far, it's been the most consistently rented machine across all the platforms. Then we have Vast, where we got a few days of work, no work, a little bit of work, no work. And we've been rented the last few days right now with Vast. So far, Chlor, I have to set it to a price that's below the amount that I pay for electricity, which I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to run it at a loss. So I have it above that. And currently right now, we are not rented on Chlor. Chlor has been the worst performing platform for renting right now, per my test. And then we're come over to Salad, and Salad's been kind of all over the place, right? But that's kind of how Salad is, because they just have these containers go on and come off. They do their workloads and they come on and they go off. It's not like someone continuously rents this thing for a block of time and uses you for compute. You know what I mean? So, we had a couple days here, we had 3 days here, but we had like 6 days of no renting. We had another 5 days of renting, 2 days of not renting. But the wattage is low, right? The wattage is much lower. Like you see here, $5.99 a day. It's only pulling 382, and Flux is making 26 cents an hour, which is about $6.02 a day, but it's pulling 775 watts. So the wattage is significantly more. But I'm going to say currently right now that Salad and Vast are for me about equal as far as like, being rented, not rented. And then Flux was obviously the most steady one now, but now that it's turned off, I'm curious to see when do we get another job again, right? Because that's going to be really important. Hi, hey, how you doing, Master Investor? Hey, what's up, Jeff Key, man? How you doing? Hey, I'm gonna stream for a little while, Jeff Key. If you want to pop in here, I'll send you a link, man. If you want to hang out for a minute. Offshore miner, the disappointment that is AI. Well, certain platforms, it really depends. You know what I mean? It really depends on what type of hardware you have, what type of GPUs you're using, what type of internet connectivity you have. And honestly, it matters about your uptime. If you guys are constantly turning this thing on and off, restarting it, trying to reboot it to like get a job, it's going to hurt your reliability score. Salads even said that there is a reliability score in the back end. So just leave the machine on. Can you rent Vast AI and host it on FluxCore to make a profit? I mean, you could host it on Flux, but I don't think you're going to make a profit because the Vast price is less than the Flux core price. So you're definitely not running a profit. You're going to be negative. So I wouldn't do that. No, I don't. Panhandler Mining. So they don't have issues on Windows. What they have is they don't support Windows, and they've openly said this. And I was just scrolling through YouTube and I seen this thing that Flux, something about Flux from the technicals. I watched like the first 2 minutes of it. I don't really care for his content that much personally, but I just said, "What, I'll just watch it." And he was complaining about them not having support for Windows, but I'm just gonna let you guys know this in the AI marketplace. We'll call it industry. Okay, Linux is extremely predominant, right? Okay, if you go in there to these other platforms and say you're a Windblows user, they're just going to laugh at you. Okay. I'm just being honest. And you guys need to stop being closed minded and saying, oh, I can't learn Linux. I can't do this. The one thing that Robert Kiyosaki always said is people who say I can't don't get very far. All right. You got to say, how can I? All right. So instead of saying I can't learn Linux, I can't do Linux, you need to say, how can I? Right. And that's just kind of my philosophy. I mean, right now here, I'm right now, here, I'll show you this. I'm doing I'm right now, I'm taking the Linux Foundation system administrator certification test and course right now from the Linux Foundation. Those are the guys who actually make the kernel for Linux. So I'm doing that right now. Need music because he stops talking and feel disconnected. You know what, Hawk? It's my stream. I don't have to put music on. You can go eat it. All right, eat shit. Flux never runs in Windows better than Linux. Flux core never run in Windows better than it. Yeah. Gifted 1 membership. Oh, well, hey, thanks, Seketio, for gifting a membership. I don't know who that went to because I'm in StreamYard, but whoever won the membership, congratulations. Masked Investor says, I wonder if this is Bad Ace. It has the same logo here in this YouTube thing. If this is Bad Ace, maybe he changed his name. My Flux machine doesn't rent, but I just have two 3070s on it, just trying it out. But I mean, 3070s they're not really AI workload GPUs. You know what I mean? Like, you need like 4090s. I'm gonna be honest. Like, okay, if you're throwing like 3060s and like 3060 Ti's and 3070 Ti's, like these are all like gaming mining cards. Like, you want to be throwing 4090s at this stuff. Okay, that's where the money is. Unfortunately, is you need to use 4090s. Lower end cards, you got to figure like how many more people own 3070s? Like how many more 3070 owners are there out there? Well, I can't talk today. Out there in the world, right? Compared to how many 4090 owners are there, right? There's much less 4090 owners, right? Just because of the sheer price point, right? People can't afford it. And then thank you, Joker, for the #1 always, fan forever. He's a Mining King, fan for life here. Member for 13 months. That's it. Only 13 months, Joker. That's not that long. I was at least thinking 2 years, but Painhunter Mining says that's fair, but why do they have a Windows installer and I'm a Linux admin? Just need to know the path. I mean, so they plan on eventually adding support for Windows. Yes. Right now, you can just mine in Windows with Flux Core, but they do, from what I know, they do plan adding support, and I'm sure it's going to be through WSL, which is Windows Subsystem Linux. I don't know if they're going to do the same kind of thing that Salad does, but I'm sure it's going to be different because Salad uses Docker, Flux uses Kubernetes. So I'm not a coder, so I don't know the technical lingo of how we're going to get that done. See what other questions we got here. Yeah, so Mindsum 10, you need to go into your Windows update thing, tell it to not update for 5 weeks, and then just every 5 weeks you just go in there and just keep doing it. It sucks with Windows. I hate Windows. That's why, look, whenever you set up systems, like you set up servers or like all these other things, that's why like everyone uses Linux, right? They don't use Windows. Windows is terrible. It's not meant for like operating, operational things. What about the H100 King? I mean, if you got money for that, Smash the Like Bros, then do a whole rig of H100s, man. Please. I want to see pictures. Claude G asks, what is the predominant flavor of Unix nowadays? Ubuntu. Yeah, Ubuntu I would say is the predominant. I mean, unless you're an enterprise, then you're talking Red Hat. But for like free open source is definitely going to be Ubuntu. Check the 3090s are good as well, except if you want to get the very highest top paying like workloads, you definitely want to get 4090s. Now you can get 3090s and maybe you can get them used for a really good price. Like if you can get like 4090s, I picked up 4 4090s for $375 each. That's like a steal. But if you can get 3090s like that, like I did, then yes, it makes sense to run them, right? That's not true, King. I'm gonna put a 4090 on Flux. 3090s, yeah, they're definitely okay. They're not the best, but they will make you money, right? They could yield you like a $5 job in salad or something like that. $5-6 a day. But just realize that when it comes to AI, they're always going to want the newest and greatest, right? They want the most amount of memory and they want the best processing power possible. Okay. Like it has like the mindset of mining, it has to like leave your mind. Everything you know about mining, I want you to throw it in the garbage, right? And then just relearn all the AI stuff because it's way different than what you're used to crypto mining with. Oh, hey, it's Mr. RPM, man. Hey, you want to call in RPM? Huh? Or how about you, Jeff? Do you want to call in? I'll give you guys both links. Oh yeah. Oh, yeah, and Susie. I did forget about Susie. That is part of the questions on the Linux Foundation, all the different distros and stuff like that. Susie and Red Hats and CentOS and Fedora and all those things. All right, I think I finally caught up on the chat. Man, there was a lot of comments. Okay. But yeah, so these are the results of my my AI rentals here. Now, as far as my lithium though, my AL0, ooh, man, those rewards have gotten cut in half. They have been sliced. I have my lithium wallet on. I have the mobile on the phone. I'm making, let's see here. Yeah, I'm making about 1.6 to 1.7 lithium a day. That's probably not going to pick up, and I'm probably, there it goes. Sorry about the ring light there, but you can kind of see my rewards. Yeah, it's not good. I mean, currently right now, I mean, it's doing okay. It's not terrible yet. Overall, it's been up for how many days ago did I do this? About 11 days ago, I started mining. And so far, I have, as far as dollars, fiat, right? Because I paid $800, $850 for this all in with shipping, right? $850, I've done $43. So that's, so your 10% would be 85. So in about 11 days, I got about 5% of my investment, back. So it's not terrible. That means that roughly we have about 100-day ROI, give or take, at the current profitability of lithium. So and that's also dependent upon how many more machines they put up, right? Because obviously they put up more machines, hash rate, network difficulty go up, yields go down. Boy, What's I guess there's a new Carlson coin out there. I don't know. I guess that's the new jazz for right now. Everyone's talking about the new Carlson. Okay, I guess I am totally not in the loop. I'm staying the course. I picked one project that's super speculative right now. It's a new project that I looked at for GPU mining. It's Telestai, and I'm just staying the course. Right, I've been mining it since pretty much its inception, and I have a good sized bag. I have well over 120,000 Telestai. So I'm just gonna keep mining it, and hopefully, I'm hoping it'll be a Caspa for me. Caspa and Pyron forked. Okay, nice. Yeah, I just don't know, like what problem though is Pyron and Carlson fixing other than they were algorithms, a break off from Caspa, right? It's a fork of Caspa, right? I mean, other than that, what's the point of them? Like, what does it do differently? Like, what is it solving? Like, I mean, other than fixing profitability for miners, that's nothing though. That's going to be very short term. You know what I mean? That's like you got like I get that everybody needs to make money. Um, but some things that we look at as investments, we need to think about these things long term. You know what I mean? It solves my wallet, says Panda. Yeah. Oh, get out of here, Panda. Oh man, this guy just has dude, he just dives in his freaking Scrooge McDuck vault to go pay for his power bill every month. uh Yusuf says, I don't care what problem it solves as long as it pays me more. I mean, I understand that everybody wants the instant profitability, but I mean, let me ask you this question though. If you can go back in time, if anyone here could go back in time and mine a coin, right? And everyone's like, man, I wish like I knew. Like I was building computers when Ethereum was just getting around, and I didn't even know about crypto then, right? So I wish that I knew about Ethereum because I'd be like a multi-millionaire by now, right? Or I wish I would have mined Caspa and it's more of more of the Caspa in its early inception, right? But I didn't. But I think that I think everybody chasing daily profits is extremely risky. It's a lot of work. And I think you need to find and solidify projects that you think are actually going to like be around for a long time and that are investable, right? Like that's kind of how I like to look at my crypto mining business. Like um we can't just keep mining all these crap coins and now if you're converting it into something, maybe you're mining it into Bitcoin, right? And that's what's most profitable for your GPU mining farm right now. Then I understand that, right? You're paying the electric out of your pocket, you're converting to Bitcoin. I could understand that strategy, right? Totally understandable. Hey, hey, what's up, David Jackson? How you doing, man? So and look, everybody's risk tolerance is different, right? Like, look, man, I have a bunch of S19Ks and I can't turn them on right now. I can't pay $4,000 a month. I just can't, right? I'm not in a financial position to eat $50,000 a year in an electric bill and hold on to the Bitcoin and never sell it, right? To not pay for the power. I'm just not in that position, right? It's just I can't do it, right? Um, some people though they believe in that Bitcoin's going to go up, and so what they do is they keep mining for profit, right? And then they save like a little war chest for when the bear run hits, and then they pay everything out of pocket in the hopes that these yields are going to yield them even more than their initial investment, right? Bring my rig. What rig? My rig's right over there. It's kind of, and look, my rig is like a temporary rig. So right now I'm testing an R8. So I have like 6 or 8 R8s here that I'm fixing here at my house, and I run them for 2 days. And I put my GPUs in them to mine, and obviously I pay the power for it at my house. And I test the octaminers before I take them back to the facility, just to make sure that everything's operational as it should be. So like I'm always taking the cards out of that octaminer and I put them in another octaminer, right? And I'm always just moving them to the next one I'm fixing. Caspa will only get to 50 cents or so. I mean, that's a really good hope. I don't know about Caspa. A lot of the whale wallets are leaving Caspa. If you go look at the Block Explorer, the whale wallets are slowly diminishing away, right? So what does that tell you about the project? I'm just saying that the whales are slowly disappearing, right? You know, month over month, there's less whales out there. So that tells me that there's less people that believe that this is going to go up that high. And that means that that's going to be that much more sell pressure and that many more coins coming onto the market. I'm just, honestly, I think I'm very concerned that that Caspa could just end up not working out for everybody. And I you know, I hate that as much as the next person, but it could be a reality for people. Also BC, yeah, I mean, but I mean, people are when they're holding that much Caspa, though, you know, BTC is dead, King. Rock killed it. Yeah, I mean, as far as like being a Bitcoin miner for home, yeah, it's tough. You need to use altcoin miners to have a lot of revenue. Like, even though I have like 30 machines now, it's like really hard to justify starting to become a Bitcoin miner. I think like minimum, if you want to be like, you know, really competitive, you're probably gonna need at least 1,000 Bitcoin ASICs to even make it anymore. From a numbers perspective. Let's see what else I got to talk about today. Let me think about it for a minute here. I went live. I talked about a couple of things. Talked about the brains. Upside is limited now. Such a high market cap. If it doesn't go up in MC rating, I called the 20 like 2 years ago. Yeah, Radiant is the focus now, but I don't know. I feel like there's going to be too much sell pressure on Radiant. I feel there was an ASIC a long time ago, and Panda probably remembers which one it is. I can't remember, but years ago there was an ASIC that came out from Bitmain, and they produced too many of them, and it just killed the project because they just literally mined it and sold it to death. I can't remember which one it is though. Panda would probably remember. In order to be listed on Tier 1 exchange, you must hold Caspa. That's where the whales have been moving their coins to. Right. You know why they're moving their stuff there? Is because they're getting ready to sell. They're getting ready. They're getting ready to sell. Is why that they're there at the exchange. Right. They're getting ready to sell because they don't know what the market's going to do, you know, and all this other stuff. So they're just leaving it like ready at the exchange just to liquidate. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, too many normies would be burned. Yeah, I mean, that is completely true. But I mean, this is crypto, guys. I mean, this isn't like this hasn't happened before. You know what I mean? Um, I'm just saying it happens to projects all the time. Soldad says no. So I have 14090 on Flux. I have 14090 on Vast. I have 14090 on Chlor and 14090 on Salad. There was another platform I wanted to try today, but when I went to their site to go review it some more again, it wasn't there. I got a 404 error, which is weird because I've been going to that site on and off for a few months now. So it's kind of weird that they're not around anymore. It's all over, man. It's all over. Which is the best, King? Vast? No, Yusuf. If you probably weren't here when I showed my chart. I guess I could show my chart one more time. Because there's a lot more people here. There's like 200 people in the live stream here between Twitter and YouTube. So let's go over the chart. So this is my chart. You have the the platforms here, and you can see here that Flux Core was consistently rented until today. It stopped early this morning being rented, but it was consistently rented this whole time. And then Vast AI was off and on. You can see here we had a couple of days not rented. We had about 5 days rented, one day rented, a lot not rented, and then we're picked up again. Chlor, I have to price it so low that it's below my power rate, so I just keep it above my power rate. And right now, Chlor is not being rented. Chlor has been the worst performing platform for me. Maybe it's different for other people. But in my situation, it's been the worst. And Salad's been just like Bass, where it's been off and on, right? We had a couple days rented here, a couple days rented here, a little stretch of not rented. We had this stretch of being rented, and now we're rented again. So Bass and Salad are about equal as far as rent time. Flux Core so far has the most consistent rent, and then Chlor was obviously the worst performing one in there. And you can see too, in some of these days here, there was no work being done on Flux Core. Like you see this day right here was at 74 watts. There was no pull almost during the whole day. And that, it's just like you're still making that rental price, even though the rig's not even doing any work. So now overall, though, there was a lot higher power usage over on the Flux rig compared to the Salad rig, which is mostly around the 400 watt, 500 watt mark. But so far, my experience, Flux Core has been the best solution for me. Now they are still in a beta, right? So that means that they're still testing this right now. And so yeah, there may not be some jobs here and there, right? It could totally happen. But I think out of all of these platforms, I think Flux, to me, they have the best user interface. I'm going to give their installation a 9 out of 10 because if they had like actual pictures of how to set up the Ubuntu step by step with like pictures and words, kind of like how I set up my guide, I would give them a 10 out of 10. But their install guide is pretty easy, like what you need for prereqs and stuff like that. So it is pretty simple. It's pretty easy, and it is a one-liner to install, which makes it really easy, right? You do have to add you do have to edit your host file, so this way that you can actually access the machine on your local network. 5 p.m. I can sign off. 5 p.m. Oh, Jeff Key, if you want to hang out for a little bit after 5 o'clock, Jeff Key, I'll bring you in for like 20 minutes or so. That's up to you, man. I'll be definitely more than willing to have you on the show for a few minutes. KiiNG, that GPU risers says Vast is the best. Well, I mean, it depends though. See, right now, look, GPU risers. He has a 8-card 4090 rig. Okay, that's a really hefty investment, right? That is the best situation for him and his rig, right? These are all single 4090 card rigs, right? So you have to listen. You can't just say like, oh, I have a 4090 or I have two 4090s. It's like all of these are all going to test different. If you throw two 4090s in it, this test is going to be completely different, right? So with AI marketplaces, it's completely different of how these tests are done. You know what I mean? Profitability is going to change. Maybe you'll get 2 more cents an hour for having multi 4090s. The variables really change when you start having multi card rigs. Smash the like, bros. How you doing? KiiNG, what stops you from prospecting companies that need compute power and cut out the middleman? Do you mean like going to like the companies directly, like like going to like like a studio or somebody like that doing rendering? Okay, so Flux core, you could use a few commands to see what Docker is being ran, but you can't see the information. Vast, you could do the same thing. Chlor, you could do the same thing. Salad, you cannot even get into WSL. As soon as you try to open WSL, it'll automatically close. So they've like kind of like locked you out of WSL. You can't even enter the sudo docker commands to be able to even see what type of Docker containers even running in the WSL for Windows for Salad. I don't know. I've never thought about that going direct to the consumer. I guess there's no way to really trace back and get a hold of them. KiiNG, which ones support more than one GPU? Okay, so currently Flux Core supports multi-GPU, Vast supports multi-GPU, Chlor supports multi-GPU, but Salad does not. It is in their roadmap. They do not currently support multi-GPUs, but they plan to in the future. Hey, what's up, Panda? All these AI platforms, it depends really which GPUs, your internet verified, who rents your price, this, that. There's so many more variables in this that like this test right here is just like, okay, I did this test to say, hey, I have 4090s. They're all single card rigs. I'm just going to stand them up like I'm a brand new host. And I want to see like if little Timmy set up 4 4090 rigs and he did this test, how would it kind of look like, right? And maybe his results might be different than mine. Maybe I don't have symmetrical internet anymore, so maybe he has better rentals over on Vast and Salad. You know what I mean? Maybe that's the crucial thing that I don't have anymore is I don't have symmetrical fiber. It could definitely be playing a role. I'll hop on. I got a bit of time. Okay. All right, Jeff Key. Let me get you the link here. Where's Jeff Key? Here you go. There you go, Jeff Key. See if Mr. Jeff Key can make it on. I just answered that question. Do you sold that ass? Do you think Salad actually has demand for dual GPU jobs? I mean, I wouldn't see why not. You know what I mean? It could get the workload done twice as fast. So I wouldn't see why not that they wouldn't want to do that. All right. Let me stop sharing this real quick here. We'll bring on the all-star here, Mr. Jeff Key.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How's it going?
Oh, it's going good. It's going great. Yeah, you guys had a huge update here on Flux Core. I read only a few of the patch notes, but you guys had a lot of updates. Is there anything in particular that maybe you want to point out that was really, really crucial and big over this new patch?
Yeah, because it's all preparation for what's coming for more ease of use when it comes to FluxCore. Regarding when you set up the Linux environment, it's always tricky to get that into the GUI. So that'll part of that big update is that it'll become a lot easier going forwards, without disclosing what that means. It'll make it a lot easier going forward. And when it releases, which will be soon, it's in test now. So the guys who are part of the community that are testing will have access to it. So yeah, first results are pretty positive on that piece. So it's a nice improvement of life when it comes to FluxCore and accessing it when you just done the install, because I know that's a little tricky for some folks out there. So that will be a lot better.
Oh, are you referring to the host file that you have to kind of edit to be able to get that going? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be. I added that. I made my little FluxCore guide. I added that to my little guide to help people, because that's probably the one question you probably get the most over there. Is
yeah, I see that a lot. That and the Windows question. When Windows? When Windows?
Yeah,
big one on the Edge side is custom deployment. So that's fully operational now. So people can deploy whatever they need to deploy on Edge. So that's good. With caveats, but nothing big. Yeah, pretty cool stuff coming. The focus now is switching a little bit to a couple other things within Edge for the customer side of things, so that we can onboard more customers and get into the beta soon enough.
So, do you have any, like, I guess, big bounties coming up? Because I know you guys did a bounty before for folding at home. Are you guys going to have maybe another ramp up schedule? Coming in the near future.
I'm working on a couple things. I smashed the Light Bros. Love that nickname. He's bringing it up for a couple things, so there's going to be pieces like that coming, so that you can help refer a friend type of thing. So that's coming. What else? Flux AI will be doing a competition, so you can play with the images. And if you, I think Dash was talking about doing a couple of categories, and if your image fits in that category, you can put it in as a submission and then see who gets all the likes on that image, and then potentially win something there. I think he was talking about like 12 months for free, Flux AI and all that. Just FYI, cool. we internally switched all over to Flux AI. Our ChatGPT subscriptions have been canceled at this point, so we're fully on Flux AI ourselves now. So we really think it offers us all what we need for less money. So
right, exactly, man. You guys are all on your own network there, so super impressive. So here's a question: when is the it's not pools, but what is the I guess companies, right? This way you're able to cluster like multi machines together. Like, let's say I have like 6 single 40 card 4090 rigs at home or something like that. Because right now I have individual rigs, right? But would it benefit me more if I were to put them in a company and sort of cluster them together, right? Or no?
Yeah, the work on that is also started. That's part of the improvement towards the customers, because currently I'm working with customers that are not your average startup or just using your machines for mining and etc. Or spec mining, because I know that's what a lot of the other platforms are being used for, unfortunately. So what we do, so basically part of that is that we're starting to roll out the next phase on that, and that'll include some pieces that might upset some folks, but at the same time, it's what we need to do for compliancy pieces and all that fun stuff in the AI world when it comes to data centers. And so
Would it
go ahead.
would it be like limiting like certain GPUs or something like that?
No, we're
Or
not going to limit any GPUs, but there is some pieces that are coming that we are putting in place so that more type of serious customers are going to be more inclined to start working with that, with the platform that
okay.
we offer. So, yeah, like if you talk with certain companies, they might be like, okay, so that gets deployed on somebody's computer at home. Even though if we put all the bells and whistles in place, that's secure and all that, but if it's anonymous, some people are a little put off by that. That doesn't mean there's no business to be made in there. It's just something that's a reality.
Oh yeah, right. Because yeah, it's putting their intellectual property, you know what I mean, offsite, you know what I mean.
That and yeah, there's a lot more pieces in play. So I know you guys are comparing, and I know you're comparing us with other providers out there, and by all means, go for it. I'm aiming a little higher than what these guys are shooting for, and I'm not saying they're doing anything bad, but I'm aiming for a lot higher type of customers as well. So we're building out the platform. The foundation is done. Now it's just adding all the bells and whistles that we had in mind, and that's Q3 is almost done. So we have a couple more things that we want to finish off in Q3, but then Q4 is all full on purely looking towards enterprises as well.
Yeah, because I mean, when a lot of these vast, especially in vast, I always know that people are always running all these different mining applications like Zen Miner, and they were doing Cubic for a while, all these different coins and stuff like that.
Yep.
That is, yeah, there is a lot of spec mining. Sometimes you can, offset that with a steeper price, you know what I mean, to kind of steer them away from your machine. But that is also really hard on the equipment as well, right? Because then it's using all the resources, and everything's at 100% max. Would there be any benefit to people having symmetrical fiber and having static IPs, or I mean, would there be
What?
like I guess
Yeah.
from like a revenue standpoint?
Yeah. So and a lot of people asking, well, why is my rig not being rented, for instance? There's a lot of pieces to that as well. Yeah. It's kind of sometimes people forget that they kind of sometimes need to put themselves in the customer shoe and see what's going on. Like if I would rent out my machines and I would put it on typical US cable internet, your download speed might be okay, but your uploads is pretty low, right? So, and if you then have somebody with fiber next to it who has proper upload, guess who people are going to potentially gravitate first towards? So all of those pieces do play into it. Even your uptime. If you've been up for 5 hours, some people think that's a good thing. Other people are a little put off. They'll rather take somebody who has been up for 10 days. And other people are like, 10 days and nothing rented. Why is that machine? There's no leases on it. What's going on there? So some people, I can't speak for every customer out there, but sometimes it's good to reflect yourself. Like, why did something get rented easily? And why is something not getting rented easily? Yeah, I saw somebody with 23070s. There might be a use case for that, but I don't see anything AI related for that because there's not that big. There's no models that really fit on an 8 gig, or it has to be a tiny model. Then maybe there's a use case for that. Or I guess some people were rented when it was folding at home. That's a bit of a different story. So there's all these things that people they like Red Panda says. There's all these variables. You have to take them into account, and if you don't, you might have something that's off-putting to some people. The amount of leases that you've had, that doesn't really count, but if there's a lot of leases, but there's a lot of failed leases, that'll go against you. Think about it a bit.
So is that a metric? Because I've only played around of looking at from the customer's view a little bit, really.
Mm-hmm.
I should probably do that more often because I don't, because I'm just a provider. But when, like, okay, let's just say I completed that folding at home job, right? And the other one that was on my 4060 Ti, those both completed. They ran perfectly right. So does
And you
that
got paid?
show?
Or you got the balance at least?
Yeah, I did get paid. I got the Flux. So
Good.
it's so yeah, it all worked out. It's all I moved it all to my Zelcore and everything like that. Which actually, man, I it's pretty good. I have like 250 something Flux. So I mean, you do that 4 times, you can make a Cumulus node. So I mean,
Yep.
But is that something that the end user sees? Like, if I was a customer, would I see how many like good, completed leases you had versus how many failed leases that you had?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all audited. So you have, as a customer, you have full overview of that as well. So you can see exactly. There's 2 ways. Either you yourself turned it off, or somebody in your team turned it off, because the team piece is in there, but we haven't implemented creating teams yet. But you can actually see who turned off a rent, and if it was on the end user side or on the provider side, the customer also sees that, and they even get a bit of a rebate. So that the piece that we take away from as a penalty, we actually give that back to the customer, because we want to make sure that they're happy first, and we want to make sure that they keep coming back to the platform even though they got disconnected. So, but yeah, they have full overview on that. It's all audited. They can download that, because that's a credit that gets put in, so they need to be able to provide that back to their accountants.
Well, no, they'll see the disconnect, but as a new customer, let's say like I was going to go look for my own machine, I would be able to see my completed job that I did at my folding at home.
Yeah.
No, or yeah. Okay, so I mean,
well, you will only see. Okay, you're not going to see what exactly was run, but you just see 1 for 1, 2 for 2, or 2 for 3 leases done. So
okay, right. Like how many actual completed
we
ones?
don't really share what other people are running.
Right. That's understandable. But it's a figure to show like how many jobs you've completed. So, I mean, that's kind of like you guys, it's incentivizing to you, right? Because it's going to represent your reliability, right? Of how profitable you're going to be. As you got to think of it, you're like technically like your own company, right? Your own data center, whatever you want to call yourself. And this is the representation of your company, right? So if it gets turned off too much, it becomes unstable, you lose power, internet, whatever it is, right? All it's going to do is just going to hurt you. And so this is where, if you live in a state, I know some states like where Veteran Miner lives, he has a lot of storms and he loses power frequently. That's really going to hurt him a lot, right? You know what I mean? Because if he gets turned off, it's going to be a ding, and that's going to affect how people look at him from a provider, right? Because you got to think about it. So it's like when people are looking for their work to get completed, they're going to want somebody who's reliable, who's shown that they can complete jobs on time. You know what I mean? Because if you don't complete the job, then they have to start over. Then they have to pay for it again, which is, unpleasant.
That's one way of putting it. Yeah, it is unpleasant. We're working on solutions on that as well, so that people don't really lose their work. And so things like clustering and all that fun stuff is coming. Yeah.
Chris Nicholas, I guess this is kind of a question, maybe, or statement. He said, it would be cool if there's a tool you can scan your system and they'll give a recommendation of what to upgrade to get more jobs. I mean, that's a very complicated. That's a complex tool, and because it's going to depend on your motherboard, your CPU, your RAM, GPU, internet. It's a variety of things.
And then we capture most of that, right? So it's definitely not a dumb question, but it's something very subtle. That's why kind of we do the benchmarking, so people kind of know what the benchmarking looks like for a particular rig, so you can kind of see where you fit in the AI score list and the rendering list. Yeah, it depends kind of on the job that we envision for a particular machine. So it's a good question. It's not an easy implementation, but yeah, we're working on something similar, but from the other side. So, but it's not an easy implementation, so that will take a bit of time.
See if we have. I mean, go back here and look. Y'all call does KiiNG play? You call him KiiNG. Does Flux pay fees to brokers to bring them clients? I don't think so. I think Jeff Key is the man that brings all the clients. I think he's the guy making all the connections here.
I got a couple guys working for me, and not everybody jumps on streams like me, but there's a couple of guys of us doing some of the business development. But no, we do not pay anybody at the moment for that type of stuff. To be fair, it's the opposite. We're basically the broker in this case.
Right.
We're brokering for you guys, if you think about it.
Right. Yeah. You guys are the middleman, right? Yusuf asked, what is better, 2 GPUs on a single machine or split them in 2 machines?
Yeah. Yes. Depends on the cards again, right? Like the example of the 3070s. I don't see a particular need for 2 3070s unless you want just the ease of use where you say, hey, I want access to two 3070s. I'm just going to pay for 1 rig. I'll run multiple containers so I can connect to each GPU individually. And there's that option. If you do 4090s, I can see people being interested in that because it comes with a lot of memory. So that would, again, you would be able to put multiple containers on there, or you can just straight up talk to both of them at the same time and do parallel stuff on your AI. So that's big. So you can actually load a bigger model on these machines because you use both of them at the same time. It again depends on the jobs. I get these questions a lot. Like it's really hard to answer them because let's say I say yes, you have to put 2 of them, so you have an advantage over 1, and then people come to me like, well, why is it not being rented? Well, okay, because there might not be a job for it.
Yeah, it depends on what jobs are available in the market and what the demand is too. You know what I mean? And what customers are coming in for current jobs right now. It's with the AI thing.
Yeah, and I want to put in one big caveat that people seem to overlook a lot. We are still in an alpha on the edge side. The core solution, yeah, that one, we're in beta. We're pretty confident on that solution piece. There's some couple pieces like the benchmarking that we want to adjust here and there. Proper benchmarking for Flux core. We're as good as we think it is for the moment. But edge is still in alpha, so that's very basic at the moment. So yes, there's not a huge amount of people renting currently, and that's on purpose as well, because it's still an alpha stage.
Right, exactly. You guys don't want to flood everything quite yet. When do you think you guys will be out of alpha for the edge?
Oh, I'm pretty sure that before the end of the year, that's way out of alpha already. So, like I said, there's a couple pieces that are coming in now that need to be properly set up, and if that's all tested, then I don't see us holding back the alpha much longer.
Mr. Crypto Craig, how you doing this evening? Mr. Craig asks, do they have jobs that will use 8x4090 or 8x A5000s, for example, the larger AI machine implementations with full lanes? You got some big boy servers there. Would you guys be able to use anything like that currently right now, or not at this current moment?
Not for 4090s. Where the people that have come for this type of machines, they go look and they look at the bigger cards at the moment. Unfortunately, we've had some people ask for 4090s in big volumes. I don't think they're going to be looking at 8 on one machine. They would be looking at 1 or 2 on one machine. But the only way to know, and again, I don't know every customer out there, right? So there's multiple people that are on the Edge platform that I've never even talked to. But the people that I do interact with, those are more companies. They always ask for larger type of cards. So they go like 3090s and up, or A5000, A6000 and up, depending on what they want to do.
L40Ss.
I wouldn't put 8 like 8 of this on one rig, because now you're also having to invest a lot in motherboard and CPU and all that. If you have the funds for it, sure, but otherwise I would start a little smaller if I were you.
Is that what Max is running? Yeah, I know. A lot of people have 8x4090 rigs. It's a pretty popular.
You can VM them and split it up. That's another option. Yeah. Proxmox it and put VMs on it, pass through, and off you go. I make it sound easy. I know it's not as easy as that. But
the pass through it is a little difficult. I've done it. I've done it a few times right, and I've also done it a few times wrong too. So, there's some files you have to edit. I love the BCPC promo in the background. Yeah, man, supporting Brandon, man. I like to support the local guys. Small local business guys in our community. See if you guys. I'll give you guys like 5 more minutes, and then I'm probably gonna head out here because I have to go make dinner for the kids here. A single parent life, so I'm making French toast. I think we're having breakfast for dinner.
Why not?
Yeah. Is there anything else you guys could tell us about FluxCore? Anything you think I've like?
Flux AI is gonna. Flux AI will be coming out soon for folks to use the new version with the images, so that's gonna be fun. What else?
Yusuf ask if they care about reverse DNS or not. Since we own our own IP block, we could do it if needed.
No, not that I'm aware of. I can ask the guys. I don't have a straight answer for that.
Yeah. I would if you have your own IP block that's public, I would just use the public IPs. That would make it much simpler.
Yeah. But it got me thinking of something else that I need to check now. But thanks for that. They don't care about naming. We don't care about whatever you call your server name.
I'm sure there's some creative ones out there.
Yep. Absolutely. And that was addressed by anonymizing everything very early on. So thanks for that, guys.
Static is wondering if you can run the server enterprise edition.
For what? What enterprise edition? Linux? Ubuntu?
I think Linux doesn't Ubuntu have like an enterprise edition? I don't see why not.
Yeah,
I don't.
I even prefer it if you can.
I think it has just additional dependencies that come with it. You know what I mean? And newer.
Actually, like for instance, like if you would do Ubuntu, what's it called? The service? I think it's Service One. Like if you would run that, for instance, on your machines, you could actually live patch your Ubuntu without going down. That's one of the big benefits that particular service provides you. So you wouldn't have to reboot your machine and potentially lose.
Okay.
That's running. So you can actually live patch your machine. Ubuntu offers that, and I can help you with that if you actually need that, because we work together with Ubuntu, so I can get you that. SUSE does the same thing. They have an option for that as well. They even have an option to go like a SUSE manager where you can have all your machines and you can just dial in, kind of like an ESXi type of solution. But yeah, there's definitely options out there that make life a lot easier. The downside is it often comes with like a subscription model or something like that, and then you're paying
right.
Yourself,
that you have to pay for. It's a little expensive.
But yeah, stay tuned, because I am working on some deals on that as well that we could basically leverage for you guys if there's ever an interest in that.
Oh, nice. There you go. Nice.
Yeah.
Let's see.
But again, anything that makes life easy sometimes get a little expensive. So there's always, it has a lot of pros, but there's always some cons to it. And often the con is the price goes up. So that's what it is.
This is insane. All right. Well, I appreciate everybody tuning in, man. Holy smokes. 300 people in here. 54 on YouTube and 247 on X. Like, wow. Appreciate everybody.
Yeah, Twitter is amazing that way, how fast that racks up.
That is crazy. I look at the numbers and it's just like not that many on YouTube, but a lot on Twitter. I only recently started doing this.
The only thing is that I don't know if you can. I don't know how you integrate your StreamYard, but we can actually see, like, if when I do the AMAs, like the one we did on Saturday, and I can actually see people commenting in on X as well, which is kind of nice.
I usually do, but I think so far all the comments just have the little YouTube symbol in there.
Yeah. Well done.
Usually, I think it's working. The King of Tech. Yeah, I need to make some more content for the AI test. I've only done the Flux core video, so I need to do the other ones. I haven't done the other ones yet, so I've just been a little busy, and it's a little easier to do streams than to record and do thumbnails, you know. But yeah,
if you haven't and you're a Windows misogynist and you like to use your Windows all the time for things like this, I did put a statement in the Discord, by the way, that we are still working on the solution for that bit, but we're actually waiting on NVIDIA to come with the proper solution. So
okay, so currently right now you guys are still actively working on it, but
we have a solution, but the solution that was built by some of the third parties is not stable. So I don't want to put that on there, because then we're going to get into a situation where, like, oh, I keep dropping, right, losing. So I'm holding off on that. We made it as easy as we can already to install it on Linux. I know there's a bit of a learning curve on that, but there's plus with Microsoft, there's some other issues that we would have to solve as well when it comes to security, which is always fun.
Little side question here.
Claiming, yeah, no, go ahead.
Little side question, not that important, but maybe in the future, like, since we like kind of have all these reliability scores and these other things, are we eventually going to be able to have, like, I guess, what's the word I want to use, like a company page that people would see from our machines? Like, essentially, like this would be like, okay, this is I'm just making it up, but this is the Mining King data center here, you know, and I could make a little tiny page, you know, with a picture and little bio, whatever, you know, about me. And
yep, that's coming.
Oh man, that's cool. There you go. An actual kind of more, I guess, interactive, you know what I mean?
Think about it. The way I sometimes explain how when I talk with regular businesses out there or potential partners and etc. The thing that you have to keep in mind as well is how do you explain something like this? How do you make it reliable and understandable? So I explain it as an Airbnb. So if you think about Airbnb, you have a main page where you can see who the guy who runs these houses. You can see comments on it, ratings, and all that fun stuff. So there's some people that have asked for that already, and then that was always on the roadmap. So, and then we'll tie that in together with the combining people together and potentially getting more business that way, and then pooling it up. So we're still working on that piece on how we want to see that administrated on the provider side of things. Do we have multiple admins? Is there one admin who allows people in? And all there's so much stuff that needs to be put on that. But I don't think we're gonna have to have that finished in Q3 or Q4, because I have the guys focusing on a couple of things for regular businesses first.
So here's I'm sure you probably already thought about this. Is there going to be some type of, I guess, marker to like identify like long-term reliable users, I guess, on the platform? or like maybe trusted. I don't know. I guess you could say like a trusted partner, right, or whatever by the Flux team, or something of like that equivalent. Like I would say like a verified rig, like equivalent to Vast or something.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to do the same style as Vast. That puts a lot of ownership on the team. So I think it'll be more like milestones or something like that that we've talked about. X amount of rents done, of X amount of duration, because I know you guys would just go rent, stop, rent, stop, rent, stop. Look, I have 100 rents now. Yeah, that's not going to work. So we've already taken that into account.
So it would be kind of like YouTube, right? Because the easiest thing when you're doing YouTube, right, the easy thing is getting the subs. The hardest thing to get monetized was always the watch hours, right? You know what I mean? I think they reduced it, but it used to be 4,000. Someone told me they reduced it, but that was always the hardest milestone to get, right? That was the one to get all the watch time. So that would be kind of neat to see, like, each tier until you get to like, I don't know, platinum tier, right? Which is like, X amount of rentals and deployment time, right? In the field. So that'll be really exciting, because then that'll kind of separate. That'll also be able to Flux will be able to use that as for pricing as well, right? For their customers, you know what I mean? For more dependable machines.
Yeah. There's an entire price structure behind that we already have in the matrix sitting. So there's a lot of that coming. But yeah, and to answer Mr. Santos 77's question, yeah, 600 down and 29 upload, you'll be able to participate. You can participate with barely any upload, but I don't know if you're going to be picked off. Like, depends on the use case that these people are looking for.
Yeah, I mean, so that is something to consider, guys. Is like, this is a completely different animal. Like I've always kind of told people, like, you guys need good quality equipment. Like, you guys want to use like Xeons and Epics. Like, you got to think about it from not. I understand that money is a thing, and obviously everybody has financial limitations, right? But you have to think about it from a customer perspective, right? They want a good quality machine, right? That has decent amount of resources, that have a good amount of RAM, really high-end SSDs. You know what I mean? Like, you have to think about, like, if you were a customer and two people were next to you, who would you choose, right? Are you going to pick the guy who has a 500 gig SSD or the guy that has 4 terabytes? You know what I mean? Are you going to pick the guy who only has 32 gigs of RAM? Or are you going to pick the guy with 128 gigs of RAM? You know what I mean? It's
a couple cents more, right? So
yeah. That's what it comes down to. Is you guys have to differentiate yourself and make quality hardware, because remember, you're representing yourself as a company. So it is a much different animal.
Yeah. Any questions from the AMA that you had that weren't answered, that we missed or something like that?
I have to go back and watch it. I have to go back.
Tomorrow we have another AMA because
I seen that with Alium.
Yeah. Myself and Maud, we've seen each other now more than once at these different conferences. So yeah, we got a really cool working relationship going with the Alium team. So yeah, tomorrow will be fun with the AMA, and I'm even bringing Alex. So
I seen that. So is there any type of AI related content since you're bringing bringing Alex with you then?
Not particularly, no. Just they're basically both. I think they're both in Switzerland, so there was an opportunity to meet up, and we're like, you know what?
Oh, okay.
Do an AMA all together, but it's an opportunity to ask questions if you want to. Alex might.
What time is it, Jeffkey?
9. No, it's my 10 Central, I believe. So 5 p.m. European time, and then 10 a.m. Central. So 11 EST.
Tomorrow, right?
Yeah, tomorrow morning.
Okay, so 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 and then 10 a.m. Central time tomorrow for everybody in the US. Well,
yeah,
all right,
definitely dial in. So it's gonna be fun.
There we go. Well, I hope to see you guys there. I appreciate you, Mr. Jeff Key, for hanging out with me, man, for these last few minutes. And thank you for everybody watching me. Holy smokes, 334 people, 276 on Twitter, man. That is nuts. Appreciate all the support. And I will catch you guys on the next one.